Right. So in our previous session, we have clearly seen about what is PLM cycle and what is the relation between CAD and CAE, and these kinds of stuffs are already covered. So today, what we actually seen is and what is CAE and what are the categories of design validation process, and these kinds will be covered in our today's session. Before getting to the topic, so I am Ranjit. So you are watching Simulation Tech. Right. So we already know that CAE stands for Computer Aided Engineering. So what is exactly a CAE means? A CAE is a tool. So where should I actually use this tool? To validate any designs, whether that design is suitable or not, or whether should I manufacture that particular design or not. How much stress actually formed? So how much stress actually formed? So that is my first question. Due to that force or stress developed inside that particular component, there will be some deformation, right? So there will be some deformation. So how much a deformation should be happened in that particular component, and what is the life of that particular component? So these are all my questions. So these questions are only answered by an CAE engineer. So we need a CAE engineer to answer these questions. How much stress actually formed, how much deformation, what is that lifetime? These questions are answered by a CAE engineer. So for that we need an validation process that is called a design validation process, right? So why should I actually validate a component? Whether that component will sustain my customer requirement. So whether this component can withstand these much level of stresses or not. Whether it can last for this much of period or not. So I can easily validate and check the result, right? That is called a design validation process. But we have three different types of validation process to validate a particular design. So namely we have a three analytical method and a numerical method and experimental method. So let's see one by one. So what is analytical method? Right, analytical method. So these method we have already seen in our colleges. So colleges, schools itself also we have already seen that analytical method. So analytical methods are most rigorous one, or it's namely we can easily say that analytical method is a traditional one, and we have both advantage and disadvantages in this method, right? Let's see an example. So how actually analytical method will works, right? So I have drawn a square and namely so this line should be L and it should be B. So my question is, what is its area? So that is my question. So you guys are already familiar with this, so you can easily say L into B. Alright, so it's very simple, right? So to find the area of a rectangle is not a rocket science. So we can easily say, so we already have a definite formula for this, right? So that's why we don't face any problem over here, right? For example, so if I have a shape like this, now I need the same answer. So what is the area of this particular model? What is this area? Can anybody? So we don't actually have any formulas, right? So to find that area of that particular closed area, so either we can go for integration process or else some discretization process, either two of them or both time consuming process, right? So this is called analytical method. How it actually works means, so for an analytical method, so we actually uses the formulas and theorems which are already available, right? So ready-madely they are available, so we can just use that particular formulas and theorems to our problem statements to solve a problem and get the solutions, right? That is called analytical method, but it is mostly suitable for problems which are very easy. So if our problem is very hard or super complicated, the solution will be as much harder to solve. That is the reality, because we don't actually have a ready-made formula, so we need to derive that particular formula to solve the complicated problems. So for a simple cube, so we have that problems, but for an irregular shapes, we don't have that formula, right? So that is called analytical method. So hope you will understand that what is analytical method, right? So let's move on to that next topic called numerical method. So numerical method, what is numerical method? So numerical method has become more popular with the development of computing capabilities. So forget about that theory part. So I will explain that it's not too different from that analytical method. So it's just an upgrade from that analytical method. So numerical method is an upgrade of analytical method. So instead of we are solving that particular problem in paper and pen, so we are using some calculators or computers that are encoded with the problem, that are encoded with that solutions, not solutions, that entire theory parts and formulas. So all we need is we need to give that inputs and request for a output. So that entire calculation part will be done by the software. So it's quite easy, right? An analytical method is very simple and less time consuming process, and have not more accuracy, have some accuracy also, right? So that is called numerical method. So a computer software will be created which is encoded with that previously known formulas and theorems, and it actually solve that particular forms in a particular problem in a separate algorithm. So maybe we have so much of methodologies to solve a particular problem, namely called finite element method, boundary element method, and some other methods are also available. So finite volume and finite different methods also available here, right? So that is called numerical method. Okay, so let's move on to our next method, is called experimental method. So what is experimental? So we did a lot of experiments in our college days, right? So we have a strength of materials lab, heat and mass transfer lab, and manufacturing. So in manufacturing itself, we don't do any experiments, but in strength of material labs, we have done a tensile test, compression test, and Brinell hardness test. So many tests, right? These are all called experimental method. So one super advantage is in this method is the result is 100% accuracy. See, the result is 100% accuracy. Why the result is 100% accuracy? How it is possible? And analytical method also having that 100% accuracy, but not for all the problems, only for a few problems which have definite formulas, right? But in experimental method, why it is so special means if we manufacture a product and we have to test, we have to do some experiments and take the calculations. After that, we calculate the result, right? So while doing experiments, when during that manufacturing process, there may be some errors in surface finish, or there may be some cracks, or there will be changes in that material property also during heating or quenching process. So that will be happen. So that cannot be assumed in analytical method or numerical method itself. It will be only calculated during experimental methods. So that whole errors will be considered in that result. So while calculations, right? So that is why I am saying that experimental has an 100% of accuracy while comparing to that analytical and numerical methods, right? So basically, experimental methods is a expensive one and also a time consuming one. So we already know that. So if you want to analyze a composite one, so that takes a lot of effort. So first we need to manufacture or create that particular component, and we need to test that component, and we need to find that results. So if you want to change the composition of that particular component, so again we need to manufacture that another component. After that, we need to test that entire testers to find the result, right? So it's a time consuming process. So it's not too flexible to change the parameter variation. So obviously it's a time consuming process. So that's why we don't actually have much of flexibility. So if you want to change the values in analytical method, we can just change that particular values and perform that or perform the same calculation in that particular manner, right? So that is called experimental method. So the next thing, right, numerical methods. So for softwares, for any CAE softwares, that is actually works under that numerical method. Why numerical method is so special is all the calculations are done by the computer, so a human doesn't exist in that calculation, so human error is negligible. And so while comparing that three validation process, so analytical, numerical and experimental. So I already said that experimental method has 100% of accuracy. And what about that numerical method, man? So numerical method is done by a computer, right? So surely it should have 100%, right? So that is not true. So in numerical method only 80 to 85% of accuracy will be attained. So why, sir? So we have a reason for that, so we will see in the later session. So why it has 80 to 85% of accuracy only. And in analytical method, so only we can achieve, so if it is having a definite formula, we can achieve 100% accuracy. So otherwise we can only achieve a 90 to 95% of accuracy in analytical method. So unless it should be a super complicated problem, right? What about that numerical methods? So numerical method has a 4 different types. So the first method is finite element method, and second is boundary element method, and third is finite volume and finite difference. So we have 4 different methods, right? So we have already seen about that finite element method in our engineering session. So those who are watching from a mechanical department, you guys are already have this finite element analysis paper in your third year session, right? In your third year final sem, right? So in our entire session, we have detailedly see about what is FEA and these concept is derived from FEA. So frequently I have touched that FEA subject so many times, because for ANSYS, FEA is very important one, so we need to study that FEA, right? So apart from that FEA, so we have some other algorithms also. So these are all algorithms to solve that problems. So actually these problems are these softwares are encoded with this algorithm. So based upon the problem statement nature, it can switch over from that methodologies. So either it can solve from FEM or BEM or FBM. So it will be decided by that software, or else we can also tell that, so please solve this problem statement by using this type of methods. That is also possible. Okay, let's see. So what is FEA and BEM, FEM and FDM by one, right? FEA or FEM, finite element analysis. So first of all, a lot of students are confused with this term, right? So as FEA is the same as FEM. Yes, obviously it is same. So FEA, finite element analysis, is mostly familiar in colleges, and FEM, finite element method, is mostly familiar in industries peoples, right? So both of them are obviously same, so there is no difference between these two terms, right? And a finite element method is a numerical technique to find the approximate solution to a boundary value problems for a partial differential equation, right? Quite hard to understand, but I have a simple explanation about finite element analysis, so don't bother about the theory, right? So what we have done here is, so if I have a component or whatever, a CAD model, so these CAD model have an infinite number of boundaries. So for calculating that infinite number of boundaries, that is very complicated. So what we actually did is, so we make that infinite number into a finite number by separating into a small parts, and after that we need to analyze the each and every small parts and get the result and correlate all the results and make a one single output result. So that is called a finite element method. So let's see an example how it actually works, right? So in previous example we have seen that so if I have a rectangle, so I can easily calculate the area by saying that L into B formula, right? Let's say, so I have a shape like this, how we actually calculate. right? So I need to find the area. So is there is any formula for this? Is there is any formula? So obviously no. So we don't actually don't have any formulas for this model. So but I have an idea. So how to find that area, right? So what I will do here is I just split this like and say so this is my 1 and this is my 2, segment 2, segment 3, 4 and 5, 6, 7 and 8, 9 and 10, and this is my final 11, right? So I don't actually have the formula for this shape, but I have a formula for this square, right? So what I will do here is I can find that area of individual segments. For that 11 segments, I can actually find that area. So after that, I can add that all the area, so to get the total number of area, right? So here what I did is I have splitted my irregular shape into a regular shape or a shape I known. So after that, I calculate that each and every area and add upon to find that total area of a particular model. So these separating process is called a discretization process, and after that I find the results. So this is called what I will say, finite element method. So first I have split into a finite elements. After that I analyze the each and every elements to find the result. So that is called finite element analysis. So let's go. So we can go for another method. This method is called boundary element method, so BEM. So what is boundary element method? So if you want to read that theory section, so just pause the video and read the entire session. So what I have actually written over here, so I can give you a simple example to understand what is BEM, right? So BEM is mostly used for, so I hope you already aware of what is NVH. So NVH is stands for noise, vibration, harshness. So whenever we face with noise, vibration, harshness related problems, we need BVM. That means boundary volume method, right? So let us have an example. So I have traveled in a bus. So that bus is a old bus. We may already face this issue in so many times. So if you are in the window seats, though that bus will be a old bus. So whenever we have a glass window, so that window will start to vibrate during the vehicle motion. So whenever we face that one of the finger in that particular window, so in any places randomly we move our finger over the glass window at a particular state or a particular place, that entire vibration will goes to 0. So the entire vibration will goes to 0. So that in that place our finger is act as a damper. So our finger is act as a damper, right? So to analyze that, so where should I actually place a damper? So that problem is related to a BVM. Or else, so if I set into a room, so for example this room, so this room is enclosed with a soundproof, right? So whatever I speak over here, so that will not be heard from a person who are outside from that room. So whenever we face a problem which is related to acoustic, so noise, this is noise, a BVM will be very helpful to solve that particular problem. So in our upcoming session, we will detailedly explain about what is BVM, so how actually which is differ from FAA. So that is also we have seen in our upcoming sessions, right? So that is called BVM. So hope you will understand, right? So the next method is finite volume method. So it is a very important method because I think most of you are aware of what is CFD. So whenever you search for CFD in YouTube, so you have a lot of videos which is regarding to CFD. So computational fluid dynamics. So a computational fluid dynamics basically works under the principle called finite volume method, right? So I'll set a simple example, right? So what is the difference between FEA and FEM? So FEA is mostly suitable for structures itself. So why structures only or structural related problems only a FEA method is used? Why? So FEA is only works on single phase. So whether it is a solid, it will be only works under solid. But if you want to work with two different phases, so I want to work with solid as well as that liquid or gases. So to find the flow analysis or whatever it is, so that is comes under a CFD. So computerized fluid dynamics. So whenever we study with a fluid, so we need to study that volume. So volume, that is called a volume related problem. So these problems are only solved by finite volume method. So that is called finite volume method. So we will go for another method. Right. So the last one is finite difference method. Finite difference. So why we need finite difference? What is that meaning? So forget about that theory session. So I will explain very simple. So see, you have an image, right? So this is a volcano, so which is blasted, and that lava came out from the peak. So from here it flows down, right? Let us take this as an example. So whenever I have a problem which is both related with vibration, harshness, noises, as well as that flow and different phases analysis. So which method should I use? So whether I should use a boundary element method or a finite volume method. So I need both of them. In that cases, we can use a finite difference method. See here in this example, so I need to analysis in which while blasting, how much vibration it actually produced. So I want to find that vibration when it blasts, and also I need to analyze the flow of that particular lava. So here we have two cases. One is vibrational study and as well as the flow analysis, the flow of that particular lava from that volcano. So for that I need BEM as well as FEM to solve this particular problem. So I can directly go for finite difference method. So these are all the 4 different methods in numerical methods. Okay, so hope you will understand what is the difference between FEA, BBM and FVM and FDM, right? So the last method, so what is that last thing? What is the workflow of CAE? So it's a very important thing. What is the workflow of CAE? Right. So first of all, whatever the problem may be, this procedure will not be changed anymore. So this is a very standard method to solve any CAE problem. So whether it is it is independent of any CAE softwares. So we have a lot of CAE software. So ANSYS, Hypermesh, LSDyno, so whatever the softwares may be, but this method is same. So all we need is first we need a CAD geometry from a designer, and when we get that CAD model, so we need to discretize that particular model, namely called mesh. And after the meshing is done, so we need to add boundary conditions. So where should I actually add a fixed support, where should I actually add loadings and some other supports, whatever may be, that is called boundary conditions. And after that, so we need to request for a result, namely von Mises stress or whatever the results. So how much deformation it actually produced due to this loading conditions. So that should be requested from the result. So this is known as CAE workflow. So in our upcoming session, we will detailedly explain what is mesh, what is discretization, and what is boundary condition, what is degrees of freedom, and these terms are clearly explained in our upcoming session. Right. So that's all for this session. Hope you will like this session, and if you like the video, so please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel, and see you on next video.